Hello everyone and welcome to the second episode of building Econ Ridge. Right now I am placing some sidewalk down. I only got a little bit left to do on this side. And then we'll get over to the house over there that I built in between the first episode and this episode. I told you guys in the first episode that I would build a house off camera, and I have since done so. It is not done, it's not furnished, and I still want to do some stuff to the outside of the house, but for the most part it's looking pretty good in my opinion. But I have a few questions for you guys. One question I have is I don't know how to record these videos. I don't know what to show and what not to show. In my head I want to just show everything as I build it, but I know that's not really possible. For one, the videos would be extremely long, and two, while I'm building, sometimes, I'll build something and need to tear it down because I don't like it, and I could obviously edit that out, but there might be a lot of that, and there might be a lot of times where I get stuck on not knowing what to do to something, like I don't know if I should get rid of this wall or that wall or put this there or that, and I just don't know. I don't know how I should record. I don't know if I should just record everything and just say screw it, or if I should just show somewhat of the build and then come back and have a big portion of it done, and then build a little bit and then come back and then have a even more of it done. I don't know. That's a question I have yet to answer, and I don't know if you guys can help me by letting me know how I should record my videos. Maybe suggest me to a YouTuber that is maybe bigger than me and has a lot more subscribers and does this type of stuff, and maybe I can learn how they're doing their videos, like how they're showing what they're building and stuff. A lot of it comes down to having something to talk about while I build, and being able to build while I talk about something totally off topic, or being able to talk about what I'm building while I build it. I don't know. It's very difficult. That's why I at least built this first house over here off camera, because I didn't want to start with the very first thing not knowing how to do this. Because any other creative thing I've really ever built, I think except for one time, it's always been off camera, and then I've just shown the product afterwards, or whatever you want to call it. I don't know. Another question I have, and there's really no particular reason for this question, but I'm curious to know why maybe you guys subscribed to my channel. Was it because of creative mode, or was it because of survival mode, or was it because of both? And I'm just curious. I'm not wondering to maybe drop one of my series, because if you don't know, I do the survival series, and I've just picked up doing this creative mode series. So if you tell me survival, I'm not going to drop this creative mode, or vice versa. I just am curious in case I have to put one to the side a little bit more, than the other one. Like, if you guys say you like creative more, then I'll start working in this creative mode world here a little bit more than survival, but I'm still going to do survival. It's just I might spend more time building in here than in the survival world, if that makes sense. But I would like to do both of them equally, and that's my plan either way, as much as I can help it. But if this was to blow up and people like this way more than survival, then I'm obviously going to spend more time on here. But again, I'm not going to just give up survival, because I have been more of a creative mode person for a long time on Minecraft, but I've grown, I think, since I'd say the past year, to really like survival. And there's no way I could give it up now, especially because Minecraft originated as being just survival, and then they added creative mode in. But some people like creative mode over survival, and vice versa. But I'm just curious. Some people like them both equally, and I've begun to like them both pretty equally, and I want to do both my survival that I've been doing for a long time, and continue doing this, something I've been kind of dreaming of doing for a very long time, and now I no longer have to live that dream and make it a reality, if that makes sense. But yeah, another thing I wanted to talk about is I've been having internet problems, and some of you guys know that because I've tried opening the subscriber world a couple times, and people have been able to join, but then they get kicked, or they aren't able to rejoin or join at all to begin with. I don't know what it is. I test my internet through speedtest.net, and my internet, it says it's fine. I'm getting 30 megabytes download, and I'm getting like 2 upload. I think that's right. And my ping isn't that bad. It's like between like 12 and 20 sometimes. So it's like ranging in between there. I don't know. I don't know what the deal is with my internet, but I'm really about to sit down and figure it out, because for a minute there I thought it was fixed, and then it went back to being bad. So I don't know. I don't know what happened. It just suddenly became crap. But yeah, hopefully I'll figure that out soon. But anyways, let me put this little bit of this curb in here, and I'll show you guys this house. Like I said, it isn't furnished, but for the most part I think it turned out well, and I really do like it. If you can't tell already, once I go over there you'll maybe be able to tell better. I used red stained clay, and I actually used these stone half slabs. So let's look at this thing. So this is the very first like building or house, if you will, or even structure to ever be built in Econ Ridge, and it is a 2-story home. Let me get rid of this stuff. Let's take a look at it from the front. So I started right here with the front doors, didn't I? Or did I? Let me remember. Hold on. Actually, no, I don't think I did. I think I started like right in here. I started somewhere right in here in the front. I don't remember exactly. But I built the front to about like right here, and then I worked my way around on this side of the house, and then stopped about right back here. Or no, it was the stairs. I curved it back, and then these are stairs inside, which I'll show you in a minute. And then I kind of went back to this other side over here, and kind of started to bring it all together. And then this is a garage. But let me go back to the front and give you guys a view of all the way around. So here's the front again, and here's this side over here, and this tree's kind of in the way to see this up here. Let me come back again. But yeah, the house, it's not furnished, and the outside I still want to do, you know, like bushes and stuff. And while I was building it, I put this tree here because in my mind I saw, you know, a doorway that you see here in my mind come out, and then you be kind of in an area with a pond and a tree, and the tree be in the center of the pond. But obviously there's not enough room in here. I could maybe make a little pond out here, which I might end up doing. We'll have to see. But yeah, that's kind of why the tree's there. Is because in my mind I just saw like a garden kind of with a pond and a tree and all that, but it didn't really work out. But here's the back of the house. I think it looks pretty good. The reason that window is like this is because this is going to be a bathroom, and you don't want people, you know, creeping on you. So that's why that's really high right there. And I think this is part of the bathroom as well. Yes, it is. And then we got this deck up here. This is also something I saw in my head as I was building this. So I built the deck out, and then I had to kind of build the house underneath it. And then I put these pillars to look like they're holding up the deck, at least on this side. It looks kind of cool, I think so anyway. And then this over here, this is the detached garage. And I didn't know what to use as the garage door that would really go with what I used, because I mostly used the red stained clay and the stone half slabs, and neither one of them would have looked right inside of there. So I ended up going with this quartz pillar, which I don't think it looks bad. It's just, it's a totally different, you know, material compared to everything else, but it doesn't look bad. Sometimes it's that way in real life. Garage door maybe, you know, is a totally different material. You know, like a house will be totally this color and that color, and then the garage door is just white. But that's just the way it is. But yeah, anyways, we'll go back to that in a second. Over here, I used, which glass did I use? I think I used this one. I'll know when I see it in here. It was this one. Is that the same one? No, that's this one. Yeah, I think it's that one, right? I don't even remember. I can't tell. I think that's darker. Hold on. It's so weird. Yeah, it's this one. Right? Yeah. I swear, look at this. You can see this one looks way wider and these ones look darker. Do you see that? These glass blocks, these stained glass block windows and these panes are really weird when you look at them, because if you look at these from this angle, look how much lighter they look than they look there, but they're the same material. See, it's the same window there as it is here. I don't know what that is. I guess maybe because these are stacked and there's light underneath. I really don't know. But another thing is, if you look, which one is it? It's this one. This is light gray stained glass. Well, this right here, those are panes, but those are just gray. They're not light gray. Because if I put the light gray looks too light. Look at that. If you put it next to this, it looks similar. But if you put gray pane next to gray block, look at the difference. Way different. That's why I have these out here. This one is the light gray, and this is going to be a light gray window. This is just gray, and this is just gray. I don't know. It's really weird. I don't know if you guys see what I'm seeing or understand what I'm saying, but it looks weird to me. So the panes are gray. So these panes up here are gray, and these window blocks are light gray. So we'll just leave it at that. But yeah, there's still stuff I gotta do to the house. Exterior. I'm not gonna mess with this on camera too much. I'll go inside now. Let's go take a look inside, and then we'll work on something I do want to work on. I couldn't figure out where to put a TV in this house because of the way I was building it. There wasn't big enough flat walls. Like right here, this was a big enough wall, but then it would have been in the way of the stairs. So I ended up just putting a TV right here for now. This is the only thing furnished in this house, is a couch and a TV, just to see how it looked. From the outside, it doesn't look bad at all. You can't even really tell. And it looks okay with this gap in between the windows and the TV. So that's kind of how that's going to go. It might not be permanent, like the couch might change. But yeah, got the skylight up there. And I'll probably do another tour of this eventually once I get this house furnished. Which I don't know when that's going to be. But here's another example. These are gray panes and those are light gray windows. And they look like they match to me. They look a little darker, the panes. But it looks pretty similar. But yeah, here we are on the second floor. And this is the door to the balcony out here. And you can kind of see into that room a little bit. But I just can't wait till there's just buildings, and not necessarily buildings, but mostly houses, because this is going to be the residential district or area, whatever you want to call it. And I'll show you guys some more, or give you some more examples of how I want to build this city in a minute. Here's a bedroom, and then this is a bathroom, a guest bathroom here, and this is another way into this guest bathroom. And so yeah, and then go back down the stairs. Oh, and this is jungle wood, if you didn't notice. It's pretty much jungle wood all through, here, the stairs and the upstairs floors. And then we come into this, and I don't really know the right name for this room, but it's kind of just a little like intersection of hallways. This room here doesn't really serve a purpose except for just intersecting all of the rooms. This is going to be the kitchen here, and that's why I got the checkered pattern lapis and quartz, I believe, block of quartz. And in here, it's a little dark in here right now, but this is going to lead out to the garage from the kitchen. And then you come in here, we just got the stone floor for now. So yeah, that's the detached garage. And then we come back into this little room here. I guess you would call this a mud room. I don't really have a mud room, or I've ever seen one in person, because I live in Florida, which we have plenty of mud here. But when I hear of mud rooms, I usually hear of them through people that are like Canadian and stuff. I don't know if that's a big thing in Canada. I'm not sure. Maybe if you're Canadian and you're watching this right now, you can let me know. I'm sure they have them up north and stuff like that. where when it snows and it gets really muddy and slushy and stuff like that. But for most of us, we know Florida, it doesn't get too muddy unless it rains and you go out into the mud. Like, I don't know. It's just not, I don't know. I'm sure there's mud rooms somewhere in Florida, but I've never seen one. Yeah, here's the master bedroom right here. And then this is the master bathroom, where that window I was explaining, you don't want to be able to see in the window, or you don't want other people to see in your window. You don't want no peeping toms. And then obviously it's dark until I get the right lighting in here. This right here is going to be another guest bathroom. Oh, I still got to fill that in up there. But yeah, this is another guest bathroom, and I used the chiseled quartz. What is this? Yes, chiseled quartz for the floor. And then in here, this is going to be another like guest bedroom, maybe, or it could be like a sunroom, because lots of sunrooms usually have lots of windows, so there's plenty of windows and skylights in here. This could end up being a sunroom where you just like hang out in summer. And yeah, I don't know. I don't have a sunroom, but I know of them. And then it's just another door to that guest bathroom. But yeah, that's pretty much the house so far, interior wise. I just gotta furnish it now. Here's these doors that lead back out here, and then the sunroom we just left. That's why I might make that a sunroom, because I don't know, it's weird to have a bedroom with double doors. The master bedroom doesn't even have these double doors. But the house isn't done. I mean, there's so many things I can do and change, like these vines. I'm not sure if those are gonna stay or not. Don't know if I like them. You guys can let me know. Do you guys like them? I don't know. It's like I do and I don't. It was just an idea, a spur of the moment thing. Yeah, I'm personally really liking this house. Let me know in the comments if you guys like this house. Something I had to do for this privacy fence is kind of curve it here, because of the brick wall into the neighbor. You know, that's part of the neighborhood, like brick wall, I guess. It would have looked really weird having this connect to the front here, so I had to think of something, and I was like, oh, why don't I just curve it? And that's what I did. But yeah, you know what? I thought of this earlier. Let me do it really quick. Let me grab some materials and finish this wall just a little bit, because I was thinking of turning this wall and bringing it back here, but I think I'm gonna go one more time to here and then turn this wall, and we're gonna go back like that, just to give me a little bit more room on this side if I need it for some reason. And also I want to keep all of the houses, the lots or the yards or whatever you want to call it, I want to keep all of the lots, is what I'll just refer to them as the same size. Generally the same size. They don't have to be exactly the same size, and not all of them are going to have a fence. I'm thinking of mixing it up and making it look, you know, more realistic, because in the past I think me and a lot of my friends have done that in our worlds, like whether it's been my world or this person's world, where we always put a fence around our house, which isn't a bad idea, but every house having a fence kind of looks a little ridiculous. I think every once in a while having one that doesn't have a fence makes it look a little more realistic, I guess. That's just the way I see things. Maybe I'm crazy, but it is what it is. So yeah, the next house will be like, you know, right here. But actually the next house I'm thinking about building across the street, so I can get a better idea of how it's going to look from this view right here. Because what we're going to do right now is we're going to build the Econ Ridge sign for the front of the neighborhood. So let me grab some of these materials, and I'm going to make this part of the wall really big till I figure out exactly where it's going to go, the letters Econ Ridge. And I have an image from my old world where I had it already on the wall, and it looks like I ended it right about here. Yeah, I'd say like right here. So we're actually going to start with the last letter first, for the Econ part, because if you don't know, if you're a new viewer, it's going to say Econ on this side and it's going to say Ridge on that side. So we're going to start with the N in Econ. So we need full block quartz, we need half slab, and we need quartz stairs. I think that's everything. And so how this works is you put an upside down stair. Where's this going to go? Like right here? Luckily, I have this image, or I'd have to go in and out of the world to try and figure out how these letters go again. I think that's right. I might want to move it over one. So I don't like how it's like right here at the edge. So let's move it over just a tad bit. Yeah, that looks better to me. Okay, and then place that, and then a stair, and then remove that. And then we just put 2 of those and another stair, and that's an N. So there's the N in Econ. And doesn't that look weird with it not, once it's done, it will look a lot more, it will make a lot more sense the way that looks. But when you just look at that alone, it's like, what is that? It's a mystery. Okay, so now we're on to the O, and we're going to space them 1 block apart. So let's go like that. And if you guys are wondering how to build these letters the way that I'm building them, all I did when I first originally built this in the old world is I typed in Minecraft letters and looked up images, and there's plenty of different images on how to use these materials, like a full block, a stair, and a half slab, to make letters look a little more realistic than using just full blocks, because that's how I've done it in the past, was use full blocks. And if it's on something really big, like a really big building, it's not too bad. But buildings, or writing out Econ Ridge with full blocks, this wall would end up having to be really tall, and then it just looks goofy. But yeah, just look up Minecraft letters and then go to the images, and you should see plenty of ways to spell out letters using these blocks. Okay, and bam. So now we got Econ. So now we got to do the E. The E is pretty easy. You just go 2 slabs. You just go all the way up like that, I believe, right? Yes. And then put that and that. So there we go. Now we got Econ. And so now I can go ahead and chop off, I think, this right here, because I'm only raising it up behind the letters. And let's bring it down. Let's see, how did I do this side? We got 1 full block and then a stair. 1 full block, and then we gotta put a stair right here. So let's grab this brick stair, and that should look perfect. Perfecto. Okay, so now that I know how I'm gonna do the letters, pretty much, we're gonna go right here, right? Yeah, so this would be where we go. Now we get the other image out. Ridge, here we go. So the R, we just go all the way up, and then put the half slab right there, and then another half slab at the bottom of this full block. Put a stair there, and a half slab here, and another stair on top. So there's the R. I seen another version of an R. All the letters were the same of this picture I was looking at, except for the R. The R was different, and I didn't like it. So I'm sticking with this R that I've used before. I think it looks a little bit better than the one I saw. It's a personal thing, though. So go up 3 with those, and then that. There we go. We got the I. Okay, let's extend this. We'll just extend it really far again, just in case. Now we got to go with the D, which goes up really high as well. That there. And this goes that way? Correct. And then you put a full block in there. There's their D. Econ Rid. Now we gotta put the J. Rid. Oh, and if you guys have any suggestions on what types of buildings I should eventually build in this world, feel free to let me know. Like, hey, build a police station, build a mall, which I plan on building a lot of the suggestions I'm gonna say. Eventually I'll build an airport, a prison, a fire station, things like that. But maybe leaving a suggestion, I'll be like, oh, I didn't even think of that, So if you guys want to, just leave me suggestions on things I can build in this world over time. But chances are, I'll probably build a lot of the things you guys suggest, because I've really been thinking about building this city for, like I've said, a really long time. And plus, I already had another city where I had, a fire station, a restaurant. I had a police station, a movie theater, a bank, a town hall, a bunch of stuff. And that's the world I've referred to. If anybody in here has been a subscriber for a long time, it's the world I refer to as my old world. I always call it my old world. And if you don't know what world I'm talking about, I guess you would just have to go through my channel. There was really no name for the world. It was just a city. But there was a lot of structures built in, a lot of modern houses. My mall. That's probably one way you could find it. If you search mall on my videos, you'll see my mall that I built, which I think last time looked, that video that I made on that mall when I did a tour on it, that video had 70,000, 80,000 views, something like that, somewhere around there. It was above 60,000 views, which I never thought that video would get that many views, and I'm very, very proud of that mall. But I plan on building a bigger and better mall in this world, because that was the first mall I had ever built, and I think I learned a lot, over time from building in Minecraft. I think I've learned how to build better and stuff like that. So yeah, just again, leave me suggestions on things you guys might think I should build. Maybe I haven't thought of something you suggest. You never know. Plus, just it's a way to interact. But right now, I think I'm gonna build a lamp, a street light, I'll call it, that I built in the other world that I quit building in, the other Econ Ridge that I basically quit. But anyways, I use 4 of these, what are these called? Jungle fence. So I use these, and then I place a block of jungle wood, or you can use whatever materials. You could use the oak fence and oak wood, whatever. Then I do that, and I place these redstone lamps around the redstone block. And I think I place one. No, I don't. I don't remember. Did I do that? Okay, I'm forgetting. How did I build this? Okay, I'll come right back. I totally feel like I'm doing something wrong, but I don't know what it is. So let me figure that out, and I'll be actually, no, wait, hold on. I think I remember what it is. I think it's that. There we go, yeah. That's how I did it. So yeah, that's how I'm gonna do the street lights, at least for like the residential area. I might not do them like this in the city. It depends. Once we get down there to the city. But I think I'm doing that right. I can't remember. Let's actually jump into the other world and look at them, and then we'll jump back in here, and then I'll show you guys. I'll give you guys an example of how I'm seeing this in my head with the city, which I've already kind of gone over in the first episode. But let's just jump over to this other world real quick, and then we'll come back to here. Okay, so we're in my other save that I call Econ Ridge. And you can see the signs pretty much the same on the front. And if there's anybody new watching this and you're curious why I quit building in here, I won't get into it because it's kind of a long explanation. I ended up making it long anyways. Just go watch the first episode of Building Econ Ridge, and I come into this world and I explain why I left this world. It basically has to do with customizable flat seeds that we have now, and that this one wasn't. But anyways, here's the street light, and yeah, this is what I did different. I need to put a glowstone redstone lamp in the top, but it's pretty much the same thing. This one's all messed up. I done ripped some of it out, but yeah, so that's what I was doing differently. But you guys can see this is kind of how it's gonna look. Kind of. Obviously we got the modern house over here, and then I plan on building the rest of the houses you see here in the other world, but as modern homes instead of these. Is there anything else I want to look at really quick before we leave this world? I already mentioned I'm gonna do another park like this. This one was the last thing I worked on when I was in this world. Not really. So let's go ahead and I guess we'll jump back in to that world because I don't see anything. Actually, let me explain this really quick. I think I already explained this. Well, anyways, I'll explain it again really quick. This is where the spawn's gonna go, or this is what the spawn's gonna look like in the other world. It looks like a construction site, and that's what I'm going to do. So let's jump back in the other world. Okay, so that construction site you were just looking at in the other world there, I eventually want to put it in and then make that the spawn, but I don't want to do it as like the next thing next to this house. I want to put like at least one more house and then maybe put that little construction site where it looks like a house is being built, and then I'll turn that into the spawn, since we now have the option to set world spawn point, because right now the spawn is, I don't know, I think it's in the middle of that street or something, and that will end up being the spawn point. But anyways, we got to rip this out and put that. So there we go. That's how the street light will look. 1, 2, 3, 4. Put a block of your choice. Redstone block. It's pretty simple. If you guys want to use this, feel free to use it in your own worlds. And there we go. I think it looks okay. It is a little big. Obviously, we all want, you know, just the fence going up and a light on top. But I mean, you could do that with glowstone, but I don't know. I like the redstone lamp design, and I think that looks okay in my opinion. But anyways, the last thing I want to get to in this video is something I kind of touched on when I was talking about the city in the first episode and how I envisioned it. So we got this main road that leads from that end all the way to, you know, as far as you can see, and then this way towards the sun. So it's becoming clearer in my mind how this is going to look as this world progresses. Is we got the neighborhood started here a little bit. We got a house, another house will go there, and then down here we'll have another house probably with the front facing this way, and then like a street going up the center. You know, just a bunch of houses around in here basically. But as we get down here, the houses will probably end over here, and it won't be all the houses I ever build in the world, but just this particular neighborhood will be somewhere around in here will end it. So let's actually do this really quick. Try to do this quick because this video is already 30 minutes long. So let's say that's the end of the neighborhood, right? Well, then over here I'm thinking about building shops, but I'll be looking at the side of the shops from here because I want a road to start right here. So you come down this road and you'll take a right and go up a road this way, and you'll see shop fronts right here, shop fronts, all the way down looking that way, opposite of the sun. And then right here where you see this line, I'm gonna dig this out, and then there's another line way over here. I'm gonna dig this line out as far as I feel necessary, and dig out everything from that line to that line, dig it all out. I'm not exactly sure how deep, maybe like this deep here, and then make it a river, kind of like I think it's called the Hudson River in New York City, where it's just a river going down the center that way and that way, and then right where the sidewalk ends there, I feel like building a bridge where this road is at for now to get to this other side, which will then be the city over here. And so how this will look is you'll pass the neighborhood, and then you can come to this road and either go down this road and visit the shops. And I'm thinking about where this is at right here, where this like ledge will be, and you'll look down into the river, is a little bit back a little, like put a sidewalk or something right here, and then a curb, and then put parking spots where people would pull up, park, and there'll be like parking meters and stuff like that to park your car and visit the shops, or take a look at the river and look at the view of the city. So yeah, basically you'll get to here and there will be the bridge, and then you'll start seeing the city. There will start being skyscrapers and stuff over here, skyscrapers and stuff on that side of the river, and we'll have to come up with a name for the river. Feel free to leave suggestions. And then I'm thinking, as you're going down this road into the city itself, and you got high rises on both sides, I'm thinking somewhere, and we'll stop about right here for example, is putting a town hall right where the road will drive up right up to it, and then curve the road around the town hall in both directions, so that the town hall is like the centerpiece of this main road going up through the city. And these are just the beginnings of my ideas. I'm hoping it all turns out the way I see it in my mind. And I'm not sure if it's Philadelphia, Pennsylvania or not, where you go down a main road like that through the city, and then they have something. I don't know if it's a museum, a courthouse, a town hall, a city hall. I don't know if there's a difference between the town or city hall, but there's some sort of a building with a very famous guy on it, and I can't remember his name right now. But there's a building like that, and that's kind of where I'm getting that envision of you driving down the road, and there being a building basically with really, really big steps you walk up to get to the front of the building, and the building will be kind of raised up off the ground. I hope you guys kind of can imagine and see what I'm seeing in my head. But we got a long ways to go till we get to that. I still want to get a lot of this over here done. And I don't necessarily want to get it completely finished before I start doing stuff over here, but I want to get it established, if that makes sense, where it's all here, and there's houses starting to be built, and I'm starting to understand how the plots are going to work, and then maybe start working on the little shops like I was saying here. And this is going to be a lot of time consumption. It's going to consume a lot of my time is digging this out and getting this this river kind of flowing through here. But that's what I see in my head. Again, leave me suggestions on whatever you guys, even if I didn't ask for a certain suggestion, you guys can still leave me any type of suggestions you want. That's what I'm here for, is to have fun building this stuff, and interact with you guys, and kind of build this with you guys, for say, even though you're not here and building it with me, you're still here in a way. You still got some say in this. And even if you don't have a suggestion, you can still leave a comment telling me whether you like something or not. I'm totally open, and I don't take offense to constructive criticism. I obviously don't want people on the channel saying, no, that's completely ugly, you suck, this and that. I don't want no negativity. I want positivity. That's what I'm here for, is to inspire anything. I'm just here for positive things. And I have a lot of other things I want to talk about, but I'll leave that for episode 3. Let me know in the comments at least how this is turning out. You guys like this? Just let me know. That's all I ask. How should I record my videos? You guys can leave a comment on that. If not, no big deal. How do you guys think the city's turning out, even though it's really just starting? Let me know. I could just keep talking and talking and talking, but my jaw's hurting. I'm almost at 40 minutes of recording. I'm gonna go ahead and end this video. I'm gonna start thinking of some more things, and doing little things, putting sidewalks in, extending roads. And until my next video, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it so much, and I think this is just the beginning of a great thing. I've said it. I've been waiting to do this for so long, and I'm finally gonna do it. I'm gonna stick to this world. As long as nothing bad happens, I'm gonna keep backup saves, and we are gonna build an epic city. Let's do this. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video.